4. Fire guard responsibilities. Fire guards in shelters are responsible for the following: being familiar with the fire alarm system of the shelter in which they are employed and the emergency preparedness plan for that shelter. Continuously patrolling all areas of the shelter at least once an hour. Continuously patrolling the areas affected by the out-of-service fire protection system, keeping constant watch for fires. Maintaining a record of patrols. Immediately reporting any fire to the department and notifying emergency preparedness staff designated for the shelter. Assisting with evacuating shelter occupants and other employees during emergency drills and actual emergencies. Fire guards should be trained in the use of portable fire extinguishers and equipped with a portable fire extinguisher, or be aware of the location of a readily accessible portable fire extinguishers in the area of patrol. Performing other fire safety related duties as dictated by their supervisors. F-02 certificate of fitness holders are generally supervised by one of the following: F-80 certificate of fitness holder for coordinator of fire safety and alarm systems in shelters. F-58 certificate of fitness holder for fire safety director. Impairment coordinator. In most shelters, the role of the impairment coordinator will be delegated by the building owner to either the F-80 or F-58 certificate of fitness holder. In the absence of a specific designee, the building owner shall be considered the impairment coordinator. All shelters require either an F-80 or F-58 holder on the premises at all times depending on the type of fire alarm system installed. F-80 holders are required in any building or occupancy required to have a one-way voice communication system, regardless of occupancy classification, and that is operated or occupied for more than 15 persons for a period of more than 30 days, including emergency shelters. The certificate of occupancy is the official document that establishes the maximum number of occupants authorized to be in the shelter. If the certificate of occupancy establishes the lawful occupancy as being more than 15 persons, an F-80C of F holder is required, even if there are actually less than 15 persons in the building at any particular time. Any shelter that is required to or voluntarily installs a fire alarm system with two-way voice communication will require a fire safety director on the premises. The F-02 certificate of fitness holder will take direction regarding their responsibilities from their supervisor. If an out-of-service condition occurs, the F-02C of F holder who is performing regular fire watch patrols in that area may continue to patrol the area surrounding the out-of-service condition while paying special attention to the fire hazard. It is at the discretion of the F-02C of F holder's supervisor to assign fire guards their patrols. F-02 certificate of fitness holders should be knowledgeable of and prepared to fulfill any of these responsibilities. It is likely that the F-02 certificate of fitness holder will be familiar with the shelter in which they are performing a fire watch due to the fact that fire guards are required on the premises at all times. Regardless, the certificate of fitness holder must be familiar with the emergency preparedness plan for the shelter and should receive an orientation from their supervisor or other responsible person designated by the building owner upon the start of their employment. Fire guards and their supervisors should review the topics and questions below. Does the fire guard have a working cell phone for the purpose of communicating with their supervisor, other staff, and to call 911 if necessary? If the answer is no, the fire guard must obtain a working cell phone prior to starting their patrols. Are fire extinguishers provided in the fire guard's area of responsibility? If yes, where are they located? If no, the fire guard must carry an extinguisher with them. Are fire alarm pole stations provided and operational in the fire guard's area of responsibility? If yes, the fire guard should be made aware of their location. If no, the procedures that will be used to notify the building occupants of a fire should be discussed. Discuss the name and contact information of building personnel to notify upon discovery of building hazards or fire. This information should be readily available to the fire guard during patrols. Discuss information regarding the extent of any out-of-service condition in the fire guard's area of responsibility. Is the alarm system operational? If no, what area or areas are out of service? Is the sprinkler system operational? If no, what area or areas are out of service? Is the standpipe system operational? If no, what area or areas are out of service? Are there hazardous materials stored and/or being used on the premises? If hazardous materials are present, the fire guard should assess the risk of the out-of-service situation. The risk may be affected by the following: the level of danger of the hazardous materials, the quantity of the hazardous materials, the number of building occupants in the affected area, the characteristics of the building occupants. Will shelter residents require extra assistance during an evacuation? Are there special needs residents in the shelter? The number of impaired fire protection systems in the building. How many building occupants are in the shelter? What type of building occupancy is the shelter? What is the extent of the fire protection systems in other building areas? 4.1. Fire guard patrols. Fire guards are responsible for patrolling every area of the shelter at least once every hour. Some shelters assign a fire guard to patrol a particular area of responsibility. For example, if there are 4 floors in a shelter, depending upon the floor area of each floor, there may be 4 fire guards on duty at all times, 1 patrolling each floor. During their patrol they must look for signs of fire and investigate any signs of smoke in the shelter. They must also be alert for any fire safety violations and upon discovery, report them immediately to their supervisor. In many cases, the fire guard will be capable of correcting the fire safety violation during the course of conducting his or her fire guard duties. Ultimately, the impairment coordinator must ensure that the violation is corrected. Shelters should be patrolled regardless if an out-of-service condition is present or not. Every area of the shelter should be patrolled at least once every hour. Individual fire guards may be assigned to both perform hourly patrols and perform fire watch during an out-of-service situation. All patrols must be recorded by the fire guard. Please reference the section Fire Watch Patrol Record for more detailed information. Patrols may vary depending on the shelter. During patrols, fire guards must ensure that they are adhering to the following guidelines. Inspect all exits, stairways, and hallways to determine condition and availability for use. All exits, stairways, and hallways must be kept free of obstructions. Obstructions may prevent occupants from exiting the shelter in case of an emergency. Provisions shall be made for adequate clear routes of exit with doors opening in the direction of travel. Locks, bolts and chains must not be installed on exit doors while the shelter is occupied. If locks are discovered, they must be removed immediately. The fire guard must then report the fire safety violation to the building owner. The building owner must make sure that the chains or locks are removed. Examine all doors in the area of patrol to determine operation conditions and availability for use. Particular attention must be paid to the stairways and other areas of the shelter where fire doors are installed. Exit into the stairway must be available from each floor of the building. Panic hardware may be installed on the door. The panic hardware permits the occupants to exit quickly from the premises in case of an emergency. The fire guard must make sure that the fire doors are present and are in good working order. Ensure fire doors are equipped with hold-open devices. The fire guard must make sure that hold-open devices and automatic door closers, where provided, are operating properly. When fire doors are equipped with hold-open devices interconnected to a building's fire alarm system, such device will release, allowing the door to close automatically upon activation of the building's fire alarm system. During the period that a hold-open device or automatic door closer is out of service for repairs, the door it operates must remain in the closed position. Swinging fire doors shall close from the full open position and latch automatically. The door closer shall exert enough force to close and latch the door from any partially open position. Ensure that exits are properly identified and that hallways, stairways, etc. are properly lit. Emergency lighting shall be provided for such exits. Exit directional signs shall clearly indicate the path of egress. Exit directional signs posted above doors and emergency lighting must be illuminated as required by the building code. The entire premises must be checked daily for potential ignition sources. Any potential ignition sources that are discovered must be corrected or removed immediately. Enforcement of smoking prohibitions. The fire guard should make sure that smoking does not occur in the shelter. Smoking tends to occur in bathrooms, hallways, and stairwells, so the fire guard should pay particular attention to those areas. Continuously inspect the shelter for accumulation of rubbish. Trash and garbage must not be allowed to accumulate anywhere inside the shelter. Accumulated trash is a fire hazard. It may be easily ignited by a stray spark. All trash and garbage must be promptly removed from the building to an approved outdoor location, and removed from the premises as necessary to prevent it from becoming a fire hazard. Any accumulation of rubbish or garbage should be promptly reported to the building owner. Be knowledgeable of the location and the use of fire extinguishers and fire alarm pull stations when required. All fire extinguishers and pull stations must be clearly visible. The fire guard must know how to activate the fire alarm pull station in case of a fire emergency. Fire guards should visually inspect the sprinkler and standpipe systems, if applicable. Fire guards must report all defects to their supervisor. Serious defects must be reported to the fire department. Check sleeping areas for fire hazards and typical causes of fire. Fire guards should inspect sleeping areas in shelters for potential fire hazards. Shelter clients sometimes tamper with portable fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, and carbon monoxide detectors. Sprinkler heads are often tampered with or painted over in sleeping areas as well. Fire guards should be aware of these hazards and the typical causes of fire in shelters, listed below, and should report them to their supervisor, if found. Be on the lookout for suspicious behavior. Fire guards should also be aware that sometimes fires in shelters are started intentionally. All shelter employees should be aware of and must pay close attention to any type of suspicious behavior. Fire guards who witness suspicious behavior should inform their supervisor immediately. 4.2. Fire guards on duty. Fire watch patrols by a trained person holding an F-02 certificate of fitness shall be conducted within a shelter whenever the shelter is occupied. A sufficient number of fire guards shall be provided such that each floor or area in which the fire protection system, are out of service is patrolled at least once an hour. The FDNY recommends that the minimum number of certified fire guards on duty to perform fire watch shall be a ratio of 1 fire guard for every 250 occupants. The area patrolled by each fire guard may be further limited by the fire department depending on the configuration of the premises, impediments to patrol, nature of the occupancy, fire risk, and other fire safety considerations.